You're watching the 5 Minute Bark Podcast on YouTube. If you like this episode, you just may like many more. Subscribe today by clicking the red subscribe button in the top right-hand corner. Okay, so today, a big day here for me and my guest here today. The Patriots are going to the Super Bowl. And we've got a Bostonian here today, actually my cousin, Steve Benedetto, here on the show today, who is a drummer, a professional drummer. He actually teaches drumming, and I've always loved drumming my whole life and never had a drum set. One of my biggest fans was Peter Criss of Kiss, and I've always loved the drumming, and turns out he is a drummer here today, and he's going to share with us his passion about life and sports and drumming and how that's become something very special in his life. So, Steve, first off, say hello to everybody out there.
Hello, everybody. Thanks, Dennis.
No problem. So, are you excited about the Patriots going to the Super Bowl or what?
I am really excited. I'm really excited. It's.
Are you really excited? Are you really excited?
I'm really excited. I'm fired up.
Good.
It's going to be a tough game, though.
Yeah, always is. Always is a tough game. The Super Bowl is never something that's a walk in the park at all for no team, except for the the Denver Broncos and Seahawks. That was a blowout, wasn't it? I think.
That's right.
Yeah. So, Steve, tell us your story about how you just kind of just shared it with me. I really love that story about how you went from following your brother to going into finance to going into drums. Talk about this. I really want to share the story with people. I think it's a really good story.
Yeah, certainly. So I started playing the drums really young. I was 10 years old, and got involved with the school, middle school and high school. I played a lot of drums in bands and in the school band. It was really a lot of fun. When I graduated high school, I kept it going. I still played in bands in college and stuff, more of, on the people I just met and things like this. But it was a lot of fun, and I kept it going for quite a bit after college. I'd say when I was about 25 or 26, Dennis, I took a job in finance. I figured I had to get a 9 to 5. That was my
real job, yeah.
A real job. That was my hang up at the time. Was and of course you need the money and you had bills to pay. So I took the job at a financial services firm in Boston, a really reputable firm, and did that for about 10 years. It was great. I kept the music going in the background a little bit. I taught lessons on the weekends, and it was hard. It was hard for me to just stop it completely. So I kept it going. But it wasn't a focus. It was more of a behind the scenes thing, right? So I wasn't giving it my 100%. So, after about 10 years of doing the financial services gig, I got laid off just because of the what I was doing. They could do automatically for half the price and half the time, basically. So that was like 2014, and after that, I moved back home outside the Boston area. Moved back home, and took a job at a local senior facility in nearby, just waiting tables of all things, just to kind of figure out what I was going to do next. And lo and behold, this is kind of where I started this business that I'm doing now. Is about a month into the waiting tables, I took a job. I was having lunch with one of the marketing assistants, and she asked me to teach this class to the residents there, a drumming class, because she knew I was a musician. So I said, sure, no problem. I'd love to do it. I've taught privately to high school kids and things like that, but I've never actually done it for senior citizens. And I read all the benefits of the health benefits and things like this. That's really, a positive thing to do. So we went for it. And that first class, there was a sign-up sheet for all the residents, and there was about 10 or 12 on the sign-up sheet listed. And I was walking to the class that day, the day of the performance, and lo and behold, when I walked in, there was about over 50 residents there in attendance. I said, "Oh, geez, I better do a good job." Yeah. So it went really well. That first class went really well, and I've done one led to two, and I've grown this kind of drumming workshop business for senior citizens since then. I've done about 175 workshops over the course of about a year and a half. So that's kind of where I'm at now. It's my new, it's my business, so to speak. It's a win-win because I get to play drums, and the folks that I get to play drums for really enjoy it.
That's huge. I mean, listen to this, everybody. If you're listening right now, this is corporate America. Got laid off for just some reason, and although his whole life he had this passion for doing drums, enjoying drums. I've always heard about the drums, and sure enough, you go and you take a job, and that one time you kind of surrender to like, okay, I don't know what I want to do in life, and you got to kind of figure things out, and all of a sudden, here you are in a old age facility home, which is a good friend of ours, by the way. I grew up with Matthew in the Salmon family, and out of nowhere, you get this opportunity to go teach what you love to do. And it gives you direction. It gives you a direction to where the rest of your life is going to go. And I mean, who would ever think that this matchup would happen, right? I mean, you just never know what's going to happen.
It's truly amazing in the sense where I didn't know, like you said, it's something where, I knew I loved drums, and I was just kind of going about my business, and this kind of opportunity came along. But if you asked me a month before that, I said I would have no idea I was doing that. So it's it's interesting the way that the world delivers these opportunities disguised as something else, but you don't know what it could be, So it was so thankful for that first
opportunity.
Opportunity, yeah.
And how many times has this happened to you in your life where you've had opportunity just kind of come without you seeing it?
Well, I think it's come quite a bit, but the thing is, I wasn't probably aware of it at the time. So as you get older, you get a little more smart. You get a little smarter as you get older, and I kind of had to. I was a shy kid growing up,
Yeah.
So I kind of had to. I knew there was going to be public speaking involved because there was classes of 30 and more that I'd be doing these workshops for. So you kind of had to get over that hump. But to answer your question, there wasn't. I was more of aware of it now than I was before. So I'm sure there were opportunities, but.
Stephen, being a shy person and not really enjoying speaking in public, it seems like it's been my last one or two episodes that have this has come up. And as you know, I don't pre-screen you guys. We just turn on record and play. We talk for a bit and we come on record. And this has come out now 3 times in a row. So this is something I want to hit with a nail on the head. And you're coming on a podcast right now. This is probably going to be seen by 50, 100,000 people. And you're doing this. You're on this podcast. You're probably nervous. You don't really know what you're going to say. It's just kind of coming out. What do you have for advice for those people out there that have been like you, that have been shy their whole life, and finally now you're in front of 50 people for the first time, teaching them how to do something you love to do? And maybe that's it. Maybe that's just finding something you love to do that makes you relinquish the shyness. Tell me about that. How has this affected your life, and how have you taken action of it?
Well, I think there's a couple things. First off, you want to do the thing that scares you. If you're scared of public speaking, that kind of means that at some level you probably want to do public speaking. I mean, you don't necessarily want to, but you should, because when you go over that fear, it's like no amount of like affirmations, visualization can help the actual doing of the thing that you're trying to visualize. So when you actually do it, your confidence will just get better and better as you do it. So the act of doing the thing that you fear is probably one of the biggest things. 2, it helps me that I have the drums as kind of my topic that I'm talking about, because I'm comfortable with the knowledge of drums and things like that. If you gave me something that I wasn't confident talking about, I'd probably be a little more nervous. So I think it helps to have an interest, and then kind of go from there in the sense where you're comfortable talking about it, and once you keep doing it and just keep doing it, you get better. So the act of doing it is definitely coupled with the interest level is definitely, I think, where someone would maybe a little shy, maybe would want to start, But baby steps.
Absolutely, baby steps. They say in life, and some stories I've read, is where people overcome major obstacles by doing something they love. I know there was some people that used to go and play the piano or sing, and it would just heal them, and it would bring happiness into their life, and it would heal phenomenal things that have happened in their life. I want to take one more step here today with you to help you from once and for all to get rid of the rest of the shyness that you have. And from here on, we're going to do that. And what I want you to do is I want you to take that body of yours and grab and bring it over to those drums and play for a minute for us, and play with passion. Play like you're talking on the microphone, and show us what you got on that drum set, because I love drums and I want to do it. I'm doing this for me, selfishness. So I don't care what my listeners say right now. Listeners, I want to see him play drums. I don't live in Boston anymore, and I don't get to see him at all. When I go down there, I'm in and out. I essentially just hide when I go out there because there's so many people that want to get a hold of me. I know that sounds bad, but it's just, I try to go there and see my family and try to see what, I'm a very distracted person. So let's see what you've got on that drum set. And I want this to be something that take this and use that as that next step to get rid of the shyness, because you're amazing. I mean, to be a drummer and to be passionate like that, they say all artists are so amazing when they open up. Are you ready for this?
Yeah. Yes.
All right, put that headset down. Let's do it. I want to see these drums. I'm excited. This is going to be pretty cool. All right, so listeners, we got my cousin here, Steve Benedetto, on here, and he's going to put some drums out for us on the 5-minute bar. We got people sing, but we got drums. Here he goes. Ready? He's go. I love it. I love it. So awesome. So awesome. And I'm telling everybody, if you saw him watching and playing these drums here today, you see that he's in it. He's very passionate. He's very excited about what you're doing. And I know when I'm riding a bike or I'm at the golf course playing golf and I'm just doing something I love to do, it just gets rid of all that stress in your life. And I want to encourage you, as Steve is doing here today, and he actually teaches it, is to find something you love to do and enjoy it and use that as a stress reliever, or maybe even it'll turn into a job for you on accident. You never know what's going to happen out there. And Steve, thank you for doing that. That was awesome. How do you feel?
I feel great. It's like that was my warm up for today. So that's just getting it going. I got to do some more practicing this afternoon, but that's felt great.
Feels good. Does your body feel like?
Oh my gosh! Yeah, every time I sit there.
Yeah.
So it's
and
good.
Awesome. So you found drumming. It's turned into a hobby, and that's turned into a job now. I mean, literally full time. Tell us the reaction you see from your, I guess, clients, right?
Yeah. So, a lot of the business so far has been senior citizens and the elderly and so forth.
How cool is that, right?
It's so cool. They are some of the nicest people you're ever going to meet, and they listen and they're really engaged in some of these workshops. They want to know more about it, and it's really fun to work with them. And in addition to the health benefits of drumming, I wrote some articles on my website about the specific benefits that you're getting. I like to say the three letter C's: coordination, concentration, and circulation. Those kind of things are happening automatically when you are drumming. It's just flat out fun. And I tailor the workshops where we do these exercises that I designed that help with arthritis and things like that. So they're playing on the drum and they're doing these concentration exercises, and we have different modules. And then for the second half of the workshop, I usually play music that they grew up with and that they're playing with, and they get up and dance and stuff. So there's a kind of that element to it too.
That's so awesome. And do you still actually work with the Salmon family with their patients?
Yes, I do a lot of work over there. I just did at the Natick campus in Natick, Massachusetts. They had a memory cafe, which is kind of like the central hub of some of the early dementia, participants, and we just did that. I was the keynote for that, and it went really well. So, I do it quite a bit with Salmon. They've been fabulous, really great.
Amazing people. Yeah, they've been working so hard to grow, and I know they're very, very adamant about having a lot of great things for the people to do. And so tell us an experience of like one person you maybe seen transformed, one of the elderly people transformed from just having something to do. Is there a story that you could tell?
There's so many in individual stories. I had a woman that she must have been, the average age on some of these workshops is about 85. So 85 and older. So one of these women had just had she had some heart problems, and she had a heart attack, and this was a while back. But then she wanted to come to my workshops because she is one of my best drummers of all time. I mean, she is there before the class starts, watching me set up, getting ready to, dancing when the music part of it comes in, and she said it's helped her kind of get back into daily living and stuff. And she said it's so inspirational. That class we do, multiple times a month. So it's I could tell you different stories like that, Dennis, where it's like, it's really great because the thing is, it's not like I'm not enjoying it and they're enjoying. I really enjoy playing for them and they enjoy it. So it's like this win-win that just keeps.
I could see where I'd be tearing up sometimes to see this transformation and this,
Oh my gosh, it's remarkable. It really is.
It's awesome. It's just like, and you didn't even mean to do it. You just kind of decided to give a class because somebody asked you, and all of a sudden you show up and there's 50 people in the room. So speaking of that, I mean, that you never did a lesson before that, right?
Not to that many, no.
So when you walked in that room, 50 people, what was your first reaction?
Well, I started off, I think I said a couple of jokes just to kind of ease the tension. And they were, they're such a good audience over there. So they were really accepting of anything mistakes I made at this first class, but it was really easy going, and it was really nice. They're not judgmental in any sense. So it was really fun. But I'll tell you, it was a launching pad. That first class was a launching pad because you figure out what works, and what things you can kind of improve on. But it was really great. It was really great, that first class.
You just kind of mentioned that they're not judgmental, and this is kind of a good subject here because, here at our age, we get a lot of judgment, right? Especially this day and age. Yeah. So talk about that. I mean, being around essentially people that are just non-judgment, and they're giving and wanting and sharing, and almost like this like perfect society, right? Because they've kind of been through everything, and they've kind of they're just looking for any grasp of hope and excitement and passion to live out the rest of their days in their life.
That's true. I mean, the benefits from something like this activity that folks in a retirement home have that are different than the health benefits that I mentioned are things like social interaction for each of them. Some of them don't maybe not know the resident next door, but when they come to the class, there's this common. They all have a drum, so it's like there's been networks that have been formed from my classes because these they didn't know anything, and now they have this drum little group that they have that goes outside of the class, so they kind of go to dinner together and things like that. In addition, it's really something that I think is fun and engaging. So yeah, I mean it's they're like I said, they're truly remarkable.
Steve, I just want to say you're awesome, and thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I mean, I know this is such a great thing you're doing, and I'm so glad I got to learn it this way, and sharing it together. I mean, it's just a wow. I'm really so excited to see that. One, you're transferring yourself into a self-employed person. I've been self-employed my whole entire life. You probably know that. And I hear all the time about people in corporate America, how they can't talk about this or can't do this. But it happened for you in default, and now you're out there doing great things. And I'm sure it's going to grow into something amazing from here on out for sure. So I wanted to thank you so much for coming on the show. Is there, if for some reason they end up showing this and it gets out there in front of other people that maybe want to share it with, other retirement homes, is there some way people can get a hold of you, maybe on Facebook or a website or?
Absolutely. It's Facebook, and my company is called Respectful Beats. There's a Facebook page. It's the only one I think that's out there. And then my website is respectfulbeats.com.
That's awesome.
So that there's all the contact info on there too. So
Respectful Beats, everybody, check it out. If you've got parents that are in a retirement home, or somebody, or you work at a retirement home, and you maybe want to have some sort of new program come into your facility, this is such a great thing. I'm loving it. I'm just so loving it. It's so awesome that you're doing this. This is just so cool. It's just it's cool to see how people give back and make a living. I mean, you got to make a living. So here you are, and it's with the drums. It's with the drums.
All right.
Awesome.
Thanks, Dennis.
No, thank you. Steve, I look forward to talking to you after this interview. And listeners, again, today you saw something really cool. Somebody who's really passionate about what they love to do, and they're doing it. Steve loves drums. He gave it a try in the old corporate world, and it forced him to learn and do something new. And hopefully this is something you can do for yourself going forward. Find something you love to do and make a difference. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks.
You're watching the 5 Minute Bark Podcast on YouTube. If you like this episode, you just may like many more. Subscribe today by clicking the red subscribe button in the top right-hand corner.